What's up there, SEO pros? Today we're doing an SEO audit for a rental company, and we're here with Kevin. He's on the line, and hopefully you guys can hear him. And he sent me an email, which I'm just going to read off to you guys so that we can kind of get some background information. So Kevin says, Chase, this is the website URL. Wanted to give you background on my site. It's a Squarespace site, Kevin Rental Company in Broken Bow. Is that Oklahoma?
Yeah.
2 cabins currently, with 2 more coming online in a year or less. I cannot optimize my location services because I cannot ship the verification cards to the cabin addresses. That makes sense. Would a PO box work? Probably wouldn't want to do that. I have been active on social media. These are all the platforms. Spent $1,000 on Facebook ads. Followed lots of people, got refollows on Instagram, Pinterest. I have several images, but the page isn't doing much. House, I have signed up for House with me being the designer, but I don't have reviews to get listed. These are the competitors. These are the keywords, content efforts. I did my guest comments from the guest books to add content. It's a good idea. I want to add top 10 things to do in Broken Bow. It's also a good idea. I want to add a description of Broken Bow and backlink efforts. I've done some form posting to get backlinks. We should probably talk about what you did there. So overall, looks good. Is there anything else you want to add in there, Kevin?
No, not really.
All right. And then let me just do a screen share. Oh, I'm already doing it. Let me make sure I'm a presenter, though. Whoops. All right, so let's go visit the website, and we're going to start running it through our different crawling softwares. So we'll do that. We'll do Screaming Frog. Just put that in there. And then we'll use this other one for cross-checking. Next. And finish. Cool. So I'm just going to go check out the website. We got SSL. Let's make sure the basics are going so that it does redirect. And let's make sure that www redirects the main version. Looks good. Also going to plug this into Ahrefs and Moz Local to check the consistency, and then Whitespark to check the overall citations. So let me go into here and go into check my listing, and let's see what's showing up for this Google My Business. Oh, you were saying that there isn't a Google My Business, so of course we're not going to have the it being indexed. So that's one of the big things. So let me just make a note of that really quick.
Sorry, say that again, please.
So you were saying that you don't have the Google My Business for the locations because you don't have a way to get the card sent.
Okay.
So that's one of the big things for local. Can't send, or sorry. So what you can do for this is you can actually call Google My Business and get them to verify it in a different way.
Okay.
So first step is to call Google Adwords and get Google My Business extension line and ask for manual verification. So yeah, I had to do this for one of the, they had like, I was working with a fishing lodge in Alaska, and they had to do that.
This also applies to like Bing and all the other sites.
Say it again?
Yelp. Would this also have to do with like Yelp and Bing and those?
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you have any citations whatsoever?
I've done like manual additions to Google Maps.
Yeah.
But I don't own the business on there. But it does show up on Google Maps, and I've added pictures to it and tried to add in the content, whether it's the property management company's phone number and all of that. So that is showing up.
Okay. Yes, I mean, that's better than nothing, but we still want to be able to get those set up so we can start building citations to this business, because right now it's going to be a lot harder to rank for just organically, and also you're probably going to get a lot more clicks and whatnot to the business by having it ranking on the maps, because you're going to be able to show for more local based queries.
Okay.
But Yeah, so I mean that's like the number one thing that you should do first, I think, for both locations. And then the way you structure those locations out is you do for the 2 location citations. So like basically anywhere you're going to be listing the name, address, phone number on different local indexing sites. So say you have the first one going to a certain address and then the second one going to another address, you're going to want to set up separate profiles for those because those are separate listings.
Sure.
So for the 2 locations, you want separate citations as well as landing pages. So you want to figure out what your main one you want to rank for is going to be on your home page, right? Probably, and then your sub one or whatever the other one is. I guess you have the 2 here. You can do the URL and like whatever citations you build to this. This is a cool place to the separate landing page, and then what you would do is you do different local schema markup for each page. So I'm assuming, let's just check really quick on the home page. You have, well, actually, let's go check. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just do structured data testing tool. Oops. There.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that none of these have physical addresses because they're all off on trails and just unlisted roads. They've got 911 addresses.
Yeah.
You can't mail anything to them.
Yeah. So I mean, it's whatever you can do, right? If it's like, you know, I'm sure there's a best practice for like remote areas. I'm actually going to ask about that. I'm going to take a note for myself because that would be actually a really good question for.
They do have addresses. Like every property has to have a 911 address.
Yeah.
But it's just not something that you can mail to or even pulls up on Google Maps.
Okay. I mean, I guess you would use that then for, I'm just going to say for remote locations that have, 911 addresses?
Yeah.
And can't be found on Google Maps. How do you suggest verifying these? And how would you do schema? Local markup. Yeah, so I'm assuming you would just use those addresses, and then same thing with the schema markup. Because right now I think in the schema markup you're using the PO box, which I would rather. I don't know if you can use that other one. I mean, does it look? Huh?
That's my home address.
Oh, it is? Okay. Oh, sorry. It says postal address. Oh, so I guess. Huh. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, if you can, I would change that to the whatever you said. We're saying 911 address.
Yeah.
Also, right away from the site, one of the things that you really want to figure out is your structure. So, internal linking is really important to pass page rank from one page to another. It looks like you did one here, but the anchor text is way too long. So, it's really important to link contextually. So throughout the text, I see that you have some here, but it's better to link within the text. And this is fine too to have, like if you want to do that. But I would also say that, you know, maybe like some call to actions here would be a good idea. Also, I have a really good Squarespace designer who did this site for me. And he could really like, you know, make it look nice pretty fast. And he doesn't charge that much. So I would say maybe that's a good idea. But yeah, so internal link structure dialed in. And for that, you really just want to figure out, hold on, let me just make this other note, Squarespace design dialed in. For the internal link structure, you just really want to figure out like what are your main keywords that you're trying to rank for. So if we look at this, what's being indexed on your site, we got 8 results. And if we look at your top competitors, let's go just take one of these guys. Which one of these is doing the best? This guy?
Yeah, he's number 2.
Okay, so we'll just take him. And then we'll just plug them into here. You got 126, right? So the domain authority of this site versus your site is probably tremendously different. So if we just take this and plug into Ahrefs and then compare your site to that. And the only reason
the the big difference between theirs is that they're listing 100 some odd cabins.
Right.
And, yeah.
But I mean, if we look at the actual content, though, I'm sure it's not all just cabins. So we got blog, FAQs, cabins map, stargazer, you know, reservation. So they distillery. So like they have like and all this stuff. They actually have more than like they should not be indexing all this stuff, but they honestly have a lot more content, like just in general, not just like the cabins. And so what that'll do is it'll help not only from the links help build domain authority, but and page authority, but just from the content and the internal linking and creating like topical clusters around their site. So you got a domain authority 17 and you are 10. So what I would really recommend is kind of figuring out like what are some other things you can add to the site. So there are basic things that every site should have, and I'm about to create a blog post on this, but one of the things is like an about page is really important. So get basic pages dialed in. About us. You have the contact. Looks like this is probably if you can. I mean, I know contacts pages are kind of weird to fill out, but if you can like somehow get something like this where you got like a little bit more information. Whoops, where is it? As you can see here, like this kind of stuff. Just a little bit more. You really want to, for the main pages, basic pages dialed in. I'm going to say like 300 words minimum, if you can. For contact us, is it's a little bit different because it's a contact us page, so you don't have to have like that much, but it's better to have a little bit of something. Also, throughout the title tags, we're using contact us to book our luxury cabins in Broken Bow, and then over here, cabin guest book entries from guest stay in Broken Bow. So I guess you're using, sort of the topical seeding throughout this, which means like you're seeding your main keywords across these different title tags, which is good, but you're not really mentioning your brand name, which I guess you don't have to. I'd fix this redirect here as well and the things to do.
Never seen it error out like that.
Yeah, it'll happen sometimes.
When you say fix it, what does that actually mean? Because if I'm on my page, so mine pops up for me. Why would it? I'm on it right now. Why would it work for me right now and not for you?
Probably because it might be a different browser or something. So maybe if I tried Safari, it would work. Which I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I can ask here. Let's see.
It's functioning on.
Hey, can you guys check and see if this thing's broken for me, please?
Got Firefox and Chrome both functioning.
Okay, I just asked the live chat if they could go check it out.
Okay.
So yeah, the next thing is like this right here is more of like an informational based post, and because you should do content marketing, I really do recommend taking this and plugging it into like a sort of a blog style approach. That way you can start building authority as well and start bringing links in for what you do without like keeping this as like a landing page sort of thing, because there's two types of pages on your site. You have the landing page or sort of purchase pages where people just go on these, right? They land on here off of Google, and then they start going, okay, well, I want to buy or I want to book a trip. And then you have the informational base, which is more like this, the different things you can do and whatnot. So this is for more to build links and to get shares and like have people come in and then realize who you are, right? But this should not be a landing page in the sense that it's like a direct purchase page. It should be more like an informational, like blog post page. So a great example of this is when I was working with a company that did the Alaskan fishing lodge I was telling you about. We built them a blog post where it was the top beginner fishing tips. Beginner fishing tips. And now they're getting like thousands of visitors a month for this because it's a huge keyword, right? the reason why this is such a good idea is because when people come in and click on this, even though it has nothing to do with their direct search or their direct buy keywords, which is, get a fishing trip or buy a fishing trip to Alaska and then stay at our lodge, people are coming here for beginner fishing tips, but then they end up buying their fishing experience, right? Or their fishing lodge.
Right.
So it also brings in social shares and then links because people really like this stuff, and it brings in a lot of traffic and increases the overall authority of the website. So that's the kind of content where we want to look for, where it's like not really direct, but we're targeting shoulder niches.
So should that listing page that basically lists just like everything that's in the area to do, should that remain as it is and then build out like top tips or top 10 things to do and have that as a different landing page?
Yeah, so it depends on the user intent. So it's really important to look at, like, when people look for these keywords, things to do in Broken Bow. You can see here that like a lot of the things that are ranking are based off like tip or number based posts. So you can see top 10 things to do, activities, and then if you actually look at the content itself, you can see here that this one's probably just ranking based off links. But if we look at, for instance, say the one that says 15, and you don't usually want to look at the ones that are ranking really high that are like TripAdvisor, because those people are ranking really well, usually because of the fact that they have so much authority.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at something like this is the ones you want to look at, like these guys, because you can see here this was made in 2014. They were able to rank with 15 things to do. And then if we were to take this post and then plug it into Ahrefs, we can actually see how much traffic they're bringing in for it. And if they're bringing in a substantial amount, why not just make like top 20 things to do? But you can see here that it doesn't even look like they're really bringing any traffic for it. Now this could be not true. They could be bringing in a lot of traffic, but you can see here.
See the traffic on, where's traffic noted on here?
It says 0 organic keywords right there. But if we look and see that they're obviously ranking for things to do, let's just make sure that we click on or grab this and plug it into KW Finder to see if there's a search rate, because sometimes these tools aren't always correct. And so that says 1600. So they obviously are ranking that post for something that has a good amount of searches. So then all we have to do is just disregard Ahrefs, because sometimes, like I said, these tools are not completely correct. And let's go back into that search result. So what you do is you click into it, and this is called the skyscraper technique, which is created by somebody named Backlinko. But you can see here, look, they just list out these different things, and then they do external links to these other sites. Now, the reason why this works so well is because, one, when you're linking externally to other sites, it helps increase the relevancy of your post. But two, you can see how much more original content versus where you're just listing out these businesses. So the best way to do this would actually be like short descriptions of each of them. So like you'd say the Moon Tower Bar and Grill, best known for its salmon and wine experience or whatever. And so that way, when you do that, you still get these, like, you still get all of the address and stuff, the information, but you get all this original content. And like I said, these people are ranking with very short amount of content, but it's still more content than you have. And then if we look at the actual authority on this page, you can see it's only like 7. So in order to rank for that, I mean, it would probably be not too difficult. You can see there's about a 39 score there.
Sorry, what does 39 score mean?
It just means that it's like a lot easier than some of the other stuff that you would be ranking for. So yeah, it would probably be a really good post to try to add. Like, I would try, whenever I do skyscraper, I just take the top like post that's ranking and I try to double it. So I mean, if you could do like 30 and it looks like you already have around that. So you would just want to add descriptions to that page, I would say.
Okay.
So add plus add descriptions. And then the next thing for that too as well, I would say you want to start moving that over to more of a blog style layout where you're able to make more posts about this kind of stuff, right? Because if they're ranking for this, you can literally take their site and see what else they're ranking for and then just use that as ideas if you don't want to do like the direct keyword research here yourself. So if we go into this and we look at their 8.9 thousand organic keywords, we can just go ahead and look through all the different things they're ranking for. And then all you have to do is just take that keyword and then do the exact same thing where you grab it, plug it into Google, and then look for what the user intent is. Obviously, as we saw before, there are Google My Business listings. So that's the first thing that, like I said, we need to get figured out. The next thing is if we look in here, you can see that people are using ads, but they're not using location extensions. So that is a vulnerability that you could take advantage of, especially since all of these people are using ads without the extensions.
Sorry, explain that.
So you can actually show up in the maps for, here, let me show you. You see this? So you have the ads, and then the person who's using location extensions doesn't only just get an ad, but they also show up in the maps like #1 automatically. And then you also get your organic listing. When I was doing this for my iPhone repair site, what I was doing is I was doing the location extensions plus the ads. I was #1 here, #1 here, and then #1 here. And I was like, had 4 spots on like above the fold almost. So they're really powerful. And if there's not a high CPC, so average cost per click, how much you have to pay per click, then it might be a good idea. Let's just see what that one keyword was again. It was over here and here. And the cool thing is if they see you on the map and they click on it and they call you, that only costs whatever this costs. So you can see here, it's only 78 cents. So that's a huge opportunity because that average cost per click is so low.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you can go and set that up with just on the map. You could select that as just advertise just on the map as location.
Yeah, well, you'd have to do the location extensions with the regular ads, so you'd have both. But yeah, set up AdWords with local extensions, at least for, I would say, a month, since the CPC is so low. And then for that, I would set up online and offline conversion tracking so you can see when people are calling and submitting forms from the ads as well. And then something else that a lot of people do in the fishing industry, or not the fishing, like the vacation sort of space, is remarketing. So I don't know if you have that set up on your site, but remarketing tags would at least be a good idea to put on your site. Because if you do decide to want to use Google AdWords, you could then use the bidding for people who are anybody who visited your site, right? Or and you can choose anybody who visited your site and didn't complete a conversion.
Okay.
So the next thing we got, let's look at your analytics in your search console. All right.
Such sad numbers.
It's not sad. Not for local. I mean, this is a good sign. Let's see what that spike was. So we got, let me get out of here. So we got 37 compared to 4, and you went from position 24 to 7.5 this month. So I don't know what you were doing, but it looks like you made some serious progress for that. Let's see. Something happened. But yeah, you got 37 clicks this month versus 4 last month, and then that's what that huge spike is right there. But if we look at, let's not compare these dates. Let's just get rid of this. Take out the date compare, and then filter by all these. So if we look at your click-throughs and impressions and average position, stuff like that, you can see you have a 7.6% click-through rate on your titles, which means that people are really liking what you're putting in your title tags for at least this keyword, the luxury cabins. Now, I don't know about the regular. Let's see everything else. So we got 78%. So you have really high click-through rates here. So that's really good because it's sending really high quality signals to Google. Let's just check your individual pages. So these are all the pages. You can see here, this one's not getting any clicks, and then these are not. So that's fine. That's probably something that happens often, except for this one, because this is probably another keyword 4-bedroom, luxury, cabin rental, and Broken Bow. So one of the things I would try to stay away from is it looks like this one is sort of cannibalizing, or the other page is probably cannibalizing that page in terms of keywords. So we go and see this. That's what your homepage is ranking for, and then this is what your mountain lodge is ranking for.
So the mountain lodge is what I've been doing most with Facebook.
Right.
But you're talking about this through Google, right?
Right. So for these separate pages, you can see here that this page is basically going for the same keywords that your homepage is going for. So we want to diversify what we're going for with these different keywords. And this is an opportunity to be able to expand our keywords. So for instance, if we're hitting luxury cabin rentals in Broken Bow for the homepage, this one could be an opportunity to rank for something else. And I don't know, like I'd have to do keyword research, or you'd have to do keyword research to know maybe what this could rank for. But basically, you have chances to not just go for luxury, but you could go for whatever else in here. You see that?
Yeah.
So diversification is really important. Let's go check out, see if there's any errors or anything really quick, just to make sure. So structured data looks fine. You're not using AMP, I'm assuming, which is fine. Internal links, you can see, are very low. We want to up those by adding more content and internal links. And then crawl errors. It looks like there are some 404s, which we probably want to fix. Maybe do redirects unless you don't need these. And I don't think you probably don't need those. It looks like they're probably.
So while we're on the cabins through Squarespace, I don't know, at least I just don't know how to do it. But basically, if I go to a reservation, I think reservation on Rustic Retreat, and I can't remember if one of the spots links to Rustic Retreat / and the other one links to Rustic Retreat, and I can't get it to combine the two of them. I think it's like one of the titles clicks through. Whenever you click through to it, it's got the / at the end of it. And then whenever you go to the reservation page, it does not have a / at the end of it.
Yeah, but are they two different pages, or is it like the same page?
They link to the same page.
Yeah, that's just Squarespace. I don't know why they don't fix that. It's so stupid.
I've read that it's just, I mean, you can't do anything about it. And they say that it doesn't affect anything related to SEO.
Well, you're supposed to link internally with the same URLs. So for instance, if you're linking to another page, you should have, if it has this at the end of it, keep that. If not, you should have it like that. So it's kind of stupid because they say it doesn't have anything to do with it, but it definitely does. So that's just one of the drawbacks of Squarespace. There's some other stuff too, like their schema markup. Like they put on every page your business markup, which they're not supposed to. It's only supposed to be on the pages that you want to have local business markup on, right? Like your actual local business locations. So yeah, there's definitely some drawbacks, but overall, it's not too bad of a CMS compared to like Wix and whatnot. But either way, let's get into the actual audit part for the on page, and then we'll go into here. So URL, we already looked at that, looks fine. Page title looks not good because it looks like it says at the end your optimized title. So that we want to get rid of.
No idea why that's there.
I think it's getting pulled from like something like the logo or something. Get rid of your optimized title.
Okay.
I think there's just 2 title tags in the site right now. So meta description, we got 157, looks good. Meta keywords not found, that's good. H1 cabin rentals, so that's probably fine. H2 looks good. Alt text, you're doing good there. General attributes, got a fast load time. Let's just see if there's anything else we can do there. And then we looked at the markup. Let's look at the OG data, which I think Squarespace already takes care of this, so we don't have to worry about it. Let's just check it out. Looks fine. And the HTTP status is fine. So all that's good. And looks like we could probably do some image compression to speed up faster if we wanted to, but that's a small thing. And let's get out of there. So if we look at the actual crawl, which it's a small crawl because there's not many pages on the site, we look at the HTML. These are all the different titles here, and those look fine. We don't really have to do click-through rate optimization because we're already getting really high click-through rates. All the status codes are fine. H1s are fine. And then the response times are low. So yeah, overall, I mean, it's pretty good. In terms of the on-page stuff, like could you add more content and you know, questions like that, I would say, oops, get out of here. I would say it really just depends on the pages you're trying to rank for. So one of the things that's really important, like I said earlier, is the user intent. So if you're trying to rank this for luxury cabins and you go and see.
Yeah, and I really don't want, I mean, luxury cabins is just the name of our company. Most people are searching Broken Bow, cabins in Broken Bow. So like the luxury piece is much smaller search.
Oh no, I understand that, but I'm saying like since you already are ranking for that and you want to maybe get #1, since it might take longer to rank for this other stuff until you build out more authority, which is probably what I'd recommend. Since you're already #7 and it looks like you're fast for that, I would say that probably with a little bit more content, not just on the homepage, but around like the other pages and then doing link siloing, you could probably hit #1 within a month or two. And that's a guess. I don't know. Let me hold on. Luxury.
And how long does it take? So, I mean, I haven't done many changes to it. I mean, I did most of my tweaks throughout the last, I don't know, probably, I haven't done anything probably in the last, I don't know, 90 days or so on the site. The only thing I've done is just continually use just Facebook advertising and Instagram, and then updated, I guess, like the guest entries just for content. Other than that, I haven't really done much else to it. So would time be pushing me up, or click-throughs? I mean, what would be driving, you know, my authority? Does time play a factor in it?
Time definitely plays a factor in it, yeah. It also depends on sort of what you've been making changes to the site. You could have gotten like a few links. I don't know. I mean, it could be a variety of things. The thing that really does matter, though, is the fact that you are here, which means that generally when you're here, there's certain things you can do to rank a lot faster than if you were to try to go for something that you're not even ranking for, which is this right now. Now, that's not to say you're not going to be able to rank for that in the future. I'm just saying that this is a lot higher difficulty keyword than the one you're already ranking for. So if we go and see this keyword here, which has 13K search volume, which is what everybody's targeting right now, it's the same thing. So it goes back to user intent. If we go click on that, what kind of results are people getting for this? It's local based. So we can see here, these are all home pages. Now, you could start ranking for that and not only rank for luxury, but also for that. But if we were to see you ranking for that at least somewhere, then I would say maybe we should re-optimize for this. But because you're already ranking for luxury and you have such low authority compared to these other people, you could bring in a good amount of sales or even, you know, traffic just by spending a little bit of time making this #1 and then going and tackling bigger keywords. But what I was going to say is here you can see Broken Bow luxury cabins. Even the first result, they're having a problem. They're getting an interstitial pop-up right here. So if that's showing up on mobile, they're getting a penalty. The other guys, they're ranking subpages, and then these people are ranking home pages. But if we look at them, the best thing you can do is sort of compare. What is one of the main themes that is ranking #1? You can see there's testimonials. A lot of them are showing their other cabins with internal links, and then a lot of them have decent domain authority, which I'm assuming is coming from a lot of their related content. So I think it's really, really important to come up with, besides building out your main like required pages, which I would say is your about page, getting done. I'm trying to find the part where I said that. About us, privacy policy, which you can just get that generated, plus terms of service. And then whatever else you see on these sites that a lot of these big sites are ranking for. So if you see here, a lot of them are using like content that you know you could be using, like reservations, things to do, policies, facts, contact, concierge, stuff like that. And you know that these sites are getting a lot of traffic, then you know that Google's probably adding some sort of trust to them. And it doesn't mean it's because you have to replicate all of their content, but even for me, when I was ranking my computer repair site, I used this site, SVPC Tech, as a really as a template because they do a bunch of stuff that I did, but I wasn't listing it. And you'll find that a lot of stuff that these people will list are actual keywords, and it saves you time from trying to figure out what are different things that you're going to want on your site. So it's really important to like figure out your different landing pages, which you're going to be able to use for your internal silos. And a lot of these pages are just buy pages. So if you go in here and you offer like different things like concierge or whatever, you should put that as a landing page because those are actual searches. And even if they're like 10 searches a month, you're still going to be able to build authority off of those. And then once you get your basic pages dialed in, then you want to do those shoulder niches or even direct niches where you're doing informational based type pages, like top things to do in 2018 for wherever your area is or whatever you're trying to go for. And then what you can do is you can use social to market that stuff and build links and build traffic. But then you can also do other stuff, like you can capture the traffic. Like for instance, what I do with my Facebook group, I'll do blog posts and then I'll say in there, hey, join the free Facebook group or download the free checklist or whatever it is. And this can be applied to pretty much any niche. And then what you do with that email or what you do with that Facebook group member, wherever you grab them, is you then contact them and say, hey, can I get a review on the stuff I teach? Because obviously I know a lot about the subject, or could I get a review on the article I wrote, or I don't know, it's whatever angle you want to use. And then you can see I got a bunch of reviews off of that. So you can build a lot of reviews. The other thing is with the let me just write this down, figure out review strategy once Google My Business is in place. The other thing, yeah.
And there's like a lot, whenever you just search for broken bow cabins, I mean, there's like a lot of yellow pages and just really just irrelevant links that are in there. Like, I don't understand how I couldn't outrank them just on the just relevancy.
Like I said, those people have a lot of authority, right? That means those sites like Yelp. So for instance, if I do iPhone repair or whatever, you can see here Yelp's ranking #1 organically. And the reason for that is because these sites have like an insane amount of authority, and tons of people go to these pages and have really high click-through rates because people trust Yelp. So that's why I was saying, like, it's really important that in order to build authority, since you don't have any, and you don't want to just do it through like manual building links because that's a huge liability, what you do is you build authority by showing you have authority in that area by building content around it. And you usually build, it's called like I sort of made this up, but it's like topical content clusters, where you're creating clusters of information around your main subject. So I would say to start out, it might be a good idea to start creating clusters around luxury cabin. And you don't have to. If you want to just go for that other one and just go for the big cheese in the beginning, you can do that. But I'm telling you, since you're already ranking for that, you could get, from the progress I'm seeing, like #1 rankings for this keyword within like the first couple months versus trying to go for this for the next year and not getting like really any progress. I mean, or you could, depending on how much work you put into it, right? So it all depends on how much work do you want to put into this, right?
Yeah.
But in the end, as I was saying, like I can't do too much stuff here because there's only 8 pages, but I can tell you a lot of this stuff that you're having problems with not being able to rank like these other people are is because of the content. You have a very low amount of content, and with the very low amount of content that you have and very low authority, the fact that you are ranking already for these keywords is actually pretty impressive. So yeah, I would say to that point, I would say the number one thing you want to do is get your Google My Business location set up, because and build citations to them. I use this guy called Citation Builder Pro. I'll just do the link. Because that's the first thing. No matter what, even if you're not doing that great of SEO on your site and say you don't want to build the content, you can still get a local rankings just by building like reviews and citations. So like you see these people, they could not even have a website and they could still be like ranking right there. So it'd be super important. And if you are able to build a bunch of reviews, I mean, I generally don't say this directly as a recommendation, but I could tell you that in the past, for like a moving company I was working with where I got them #1 in my town, I literally just outreached to friends and asked them to leave reviews, and they got like 74 reviews, and that company's like getting a bunch of calls right now for, you know, moving. But you don't have to do. Yeah.
You can search for rustic retreat, Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and it should pop up. I've got 9 reviews. I think 9 reviews right now, and then 5 reviews on Rustic Mountain Lodge.
Oh, you already have the Go to My Business locations?
I'm not. I don't own the business because I can't get it validated. I do cabin, Broken Bow.
Oops. You just can't claim it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you clicked on this yet, on this business?
Yeah, and then it goes back to sending the postcard, which I can't get.
Yeah. So like I said, for these types of situations, you just call the Google Adwords, and then you just tell them that, and they'll fix it. And then once you get it, what you're going to want to do is, first of all, you're going to want to Google My Business optimize it. It looks like you guys started putting pictures on it, which is great. But the other thing is responding to the reviews. Once, here, I'll just say claimed and optimized. So optimized means images with correct file URLs of inside and outside if you can, team members if you have any, and services if you have any. And it's kind of weird, like how would you take pictures of services? But like, say for instance, you have like offer limo service or something. I don't know. Then you take a picture of a limo. The other thing is responding to the reviews. And since that's already there, if you want, you could probably start building citations to this, but that's up to you. I don't know if you're going to want to change that once you have it.
Yeah, I mean, the address isn't correct.
Yeah, so then I would wait on that. But then once that's done, then build those. And then plus adding subcategories if you'd like. And the way you figure out what your categories are is you just see what everybody else is ranking for. So you can see here it says mountain cabin. And then if we look over here, we got cabin rental agency, vacation home rental agency, cabin rental agency. So you can see here, these are more like indoor lodging. So you could add those as subcategories if it's applicable. If it's not, then you don't have to do it. But it's a good idea if there are other people ranking for similar things. So then the next thing I would say is to figure out site structure. That means internal linking, content strategy, informational based posts. What do those look like? And what your topical seating plus clusters looks like.
Sorry, can you explain topical seating plus clusters?
Yeah, so like if we were to look at your site, for instance, let me grab this really quick. Siteliner. And then run your site through this. I want to let me expand this. I guess it's as large as it goes. Huh.
And I did have a question on how I've structured the pictures of the cabins.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay, I just wanted you to look at it and just see if that's the right way, or if they're set up in gallery right now. I didn't know if there's any information, whether you're doing subtitles to individual pictures that would help rank. So if you go to the individual cabins, so like rustic retreat, 2-bedroom, for example, go to the cabins themselves instead of the reservation page.
Oh.
And so this is where it actually describes the cabin itself.
Right. Looks good.
So in the pictures, is there anything I can do to the pictures, or that as a gallery setup, is that sufficient? Does it help?
Yeah, I think it does. When I was working with the fishing lodge, they did the same thing, and we got them to rank on the first page for, it was like something Alaska fishing lodge, which was a pretty big keyword. So yeah, I mean, they were doing the same thing. And I think people like this, to be able to see this. The only thing I would probably do on this page is maybe add like a call to action or something up here. But yeah, I mean, the other thing is like the other stuff I was telling you about, like the internal linking. And other than that, I mean, it's probably fine. You can check also to see what the user experience looks like based off like the bounce rates. So if we went here, went to site content, all pages, and then went to look at that page, I mean, it's got like, which one was that? It was the
number 6 and 7.
Yeah, so it's got like a 50% bounce rate. So I mean, that's not bad at all. That's like pretty decent. And we're not even looking at just organic traffic. Let's look at organic. Get more data. So yeah, I mean, organic, this is based off 2 visits, so it's a little bit more difficult. But I mean, your average time spent on your pages, that page is like 3 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes. I mean, pretty decent. Like the ones that have like 59 seconds and 51 seconds, you might want to figure out why. I mean, the homepage makes sense. It doesn't look too bad is like what I'm saying. But obviously, I think one of the big things would be like getting this designed a little bit better. And then also, adding like the different things we're going to want to put in there, like the internal links, the call to action, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think it's bad.
So with this, they can't click in open. They can't like open that picture back up. You're kind of just stuck with that gallery view.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an issue or not.
I don't think it is. I mean, but then again, I mean, I'm not really a designer, so I can't really give you too much of a perspective on that. Yeah, that'd be a question to ask my guy Oscar. But yeah, to get back to it, so the topical clusters is like, you can see here, like these are like how your site looks, right? And right now we have like your home page, a couple sub pages, and then like that's it. We want to have like big clusters of information around certain subjects. So like comparison, like we put that like to my site, I'll show you. Oops. It might actually take a while. I don't know if we want to do this.
So what site were you talking about before that you recommended that the other guy designed?
Wait, what do you mean?
At the beginning, you mentioned somebody else designed a cool Squarespace page.
Oh yeah, so the guy I was telling you about designed my site here. And he also designed like a bunch of other sites that I can give you examples of like after this if you want to see them.
Sure.
So yeah, this is taking a while. But I mean, ideally what you have at the end is like they're called content silos is what they are. And you're figuring out like, what do you want to rank for, not just based off one page, but like entire, silos of pages, right? Because you want to be able to cover information comprehensively. And usually you can't do that with just like one page. You want to create like semantic variations of your main pages. Where the heck did this thing go?
It's just hard because the whole website is basically I guess one is things to do, and that's related all to the area. And then other than that, it's a cabin, and the next one is also just a cabin to rent. I don't understand how I would go about diversifying what those look like, as they're really just cabins.
Right. So, I mean, you want to make sure all your main landing pages are dialed in, right? So if you already feel like you have them, then I guess that's fine. But like, I would try to spend a little bit of time looking at like how much you could expand based off like what competitors are doing. Because if we look at all these keywords, you can see here these people have tons of different pages, right? And one of the things I do want to mention is like, when I was doing iPhone repair, I didn't fix Galaxy phones. I didn't fix Samsung phones. But I was able to rank this website really fast by putting information about relevant keywords and things that would be expected around this industry. For instance, Samsung Galaxy phone repair. And when they called about it, I just said, hey, I don't do it right now. But what happened is I got all these different pages, and then I click back in, and then I have internal links back to my homepage to be able to rank the homepage of my main pages higher. Right? So that's called like topical clustering, right? Because you want to be able to show not just Google, but your users that, look, we're legit. We have, the ability to do all this different stuff around our main category. And I don't know if that applies to you, but I'm just saying, like, it looks like a lot of these competitors that you have an insane amount of content around the main subject. And if you have to, like, you can see a lot of these people are doing blogs, like, maybe add a couple more main pages like your About Us and maybe a couple other things that you think you could add in there. And then just go straight informational based content where it's like targeting keywords around your main subject. So when you do the informational based posts, what you do is you target for informational posts. You target either your location, your keyword, or semantic variation variations, semantics, or both, right? If you could, in an ideal world, you'd be able to do a bunch about your keyword, like semantic variations of your keyword and your location, right? So like top things to do in this place, where to eat at this place, right? Because what ends up happening is you get a ton of authority around that subject, because you're able to rank for it and you're able to bring in traffic for it, and you're also able to take that authority and pass it to other pages, which is why we did that phishing post for the fishing lodge, because we knew that it would help build them authority and bring them traffic, because they don't have to be an expert in fishing lodges, but they can be an expert in fishing, which then adds their authority to be like a great fishing lodge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Figuring out the structure, the content, and then the content strategy for the posts. I would say once you get those things done, build out. We already said build out the citations. I would say set up the online. I'm assuming you don't have online and offline conversion tracking right now?
No, I don't.
Online and offline conversion tracking.
Tried to do it a couple times and had issues with understanding how to actually do it. I've kind of gone through. So for instance, like this, when someone's doing a booking, so if you don't mind going to the reservation page, just go to one of those, doesn't matter. So if you go down to this, so whenever it's clicked down to the tables or the calendars, so whenever you click through to this, it's going to link you to our management company, this is the guy who manages our cabins. Yeah. So it pushes you out to the reservation. Are there ways to track anytime somebody clicks on that calendar? Yeah. Well, not on this calendar, but there's ways to track externally
external clicks, how many people click on this calendar out. There's another thing you can do where if I don't know if you can get access to this guy's site, but you could have him at the end redirect back to your site on a thank you page, and then you can track the conversions.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be excited about that.
Well, I mean, maybe if he talked to me, I could convince him. I'll be like, hey, we'll set up your conversion tracking too, and then you'll be really happy. So yeah, I mean, you can do it, and then worst case, you just do an outbound click, and then you wouldn't be able to see the orders, but it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah. And so you couldn't see, because each link is going to be different. So whether it's the 22nd or the 29th, really the only thing you're going to be able to see is that somebody clicked on a superin.com, which is the calendar site. That's the only thing that you would ultimately be able to see. You wouldn't be able to like figure out a way that did they click on the 29 or 28 or 30, because every day is going to be different.
Not unless you could do like a redirect after you click on certain numbers, but this is an embed, so I don't think I can edit it.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, this is a separate website embed, so the only way to get to do that, to be able to do anything there would be to like edit that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things you could do is you could set up You Can Book Me, which is what I use, and then when people go and schedule an appointment, like you remember you scheduled the audit. What you can do is you could just then put in the information yourself once they do it, right? And then at least you know. But I gotta fix that. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I mean, what you do is you just do like a redirect after you do whatever they book here. So they pay through here, but then you just pay for them and just put in their information on there. But I don't know if you can do that. It might be where they have to enter their own personal information.
Yeah. He's gonna. I mean, that ultimately goes to him, and then he handles all the booking dollars, etc.
Right. I'd say also set up your different local schema markup for the separate landing pages once you get those pointed, and then I would do the local extensions for sure on AdWords, at least for a month, because then you can also see, because you know how you're kind of wondering like whether or not having these different landing pages would do anything. You could create the AdWords campaign and still have the local extensions, but use that as an experiment to take these different pages and have traffic go to them and see if people would even be interested in those different pages. So like it's a great way to collect organic keyword data, because you get to see everything people click on through what you're bidding on through AdWords.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's only 76 cents a click to do that, I think it's probably worth it. So we got a few more things in here. I think the other stuff was around the testimonials, add testimonials to increase conversion rates on main pages. So that's something I do a lot on like the pages that I know traffic's going to, because it'll actually increase conversion rates if you put in here like different testimonials people have.
So where would you put testimonials on here? Because I've got testimonials as basically guest book entries. So I just change that.
Yeah, you don't have to put all of them, but like for instance, like on this iPhone repair site, you'll see like, boom, you know, and this is also Squarespace, right? Same thing.
Yeah.
It looks like the other ones were taken out, but yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to, but that's just like an opinion I have, that it usually increases conversion rates, because like proof from other people, or testimonies from other people end up making other people more interested and trusting of what you have to do. Oh, also video. Video might be a really good idea for conversion rates as well. And it might be a very untapped market as for your keywords. So like what you can do is you can actually, one, increase the relevancy of the page, reduce the bounce rates, increase the conversion rates, and also sometimes rank in organic by doing matching videos. So you could literally just go on a screen record like we are right now and do a YouTube video of like the reasons why people should join this target keyword. So what is it? Broken arrow?
Broken bow.
Sorry. Oh, there's a broken arrow too? So here you can see, look, these people are doing these, and they're getting some views, but what you can actually also do is you can use these videos to remarket to people. So if you set up the remarketing tag on your website, they hit the site, they get a cookie on them, and this is what I do. Somebody actually just messaged me and told me to turn off my ads because it was annoying the hell out of them. But they visit my site, and then in AdWords you do remarketing, and then anybody who goes on YouTube, which is like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people, when they go and watch any video, it doesn't even matter, it remarkets this video to them, right? Or whatever your video is. So it would be a really good idea, I think, to add some video on these pages, because it also, you know, makes people more feel like they're there as well.
Right.
And then, like I also said, you could also get a lot of other benefits out of it as too. It also helps you add more content. You can transcribe the videos and add content that way. And YouTube is just a really untapped market for a lot of stuff. And you can see here, it's like there's probably not a ton of competition that you couldn't be able to outrank with a little bit of YouTube SEO, which is really just like doing the video. And then you can see even here, they're not even adding descriptions, which is like one of the, like a huge ranking factor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing videos of the cabins.
Yeah, and then I'd say the last thing is setting up the remarketing, because that would be huge. So that's what I'd say to start out with. I mean, as I told you previously, in these audits, the first audits are usually like just kind of game plans and like, well, of course, roadmaps. But what the point of this is to sort of get this stuff dialed in, so that once you get the basics dialed in, then you can start doing like more diverse strategies once you do testing. But ideally, this is all going to come down to testing, and we don't even know within this niche if like the informational based posts where it's targeting more around, I don't know, let's say best activities or whatever, things to do around like when you're vacationing would do better, or like other things where it's like landing pages where it's like whatever these people are targeting. Because in the end, it's all based off intent, and it's based off how competitive and saturated the niche is. If it's extremely saturated and like these people have an insane amount of authority and content and like, you know, clusters of information around this subject, it might be a better idea to tackle less competitive things like we were talking about earlier, and then slowly move into the more competitive keywords as you gain authority. But right now, as we can see, we're a very small player, not just in terms of authority, but in terms of content, in terms of links, and in terms of social presence. So we can't be expecting to rank for a lot with that. But the fact that we are showing positive progress, Google likes our stuff, has somewhat trust, and is ranking us for these keywords, is a really positive sign. And the fact that you are, in comparison to last month, going up that many positions for that keyword like that is also a really good sign.
And so what about how many keywords I have on my site? Like, I mean, are they appropriate, or do I need to be changing? I mean, aside from adding content, which seems to be the absolute number one thing that I need to be doing, are the keywords sufficient, and how many there are? I mean, I've stacked, you know, tried to reword everything where cabins and broken bow is like the first thing, or, you know, anyway, that's what I'm.
Yeah, so the only thing I saw is that one, you know, some of the pages were cannibalizing the others. And then also, just a quick thing, the people in the chat said that calendar did, or that thing did give them an error, the map.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not opening for Christopher, it's not opening for Steven or Cigar or Loudig. Yeah, a lot of people. So.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think it's decent, the targeting. It also comes down to testing. So it's not really just about what keyword can I rank for. It's about how can I figure out what the intent is of people finding my site, and then how can I further optimize around those main keywords and the semantic variations of them. And then you move into more competitive keywords as you start ranking for them. So the moment that we start seeing that we're consistently like starting to rank for new keywords based off like the optimizations we're making, then we can start moving into those. if you just go and start tackling these keywords that have insane saturation and you're not even able to represent the type of content that these types of businesses are providing, where it's just insane amounts of content and authority building, then I would say if you're not up for that, then go for a less competitive keyword until you are up for that, or slowly build up to it. Because you can see here, like, these people have like crazy amounts of content, right? So obviously Google thinks,
they all just they manage 100 cabins a piece, which all have their own internal descriptions and everything. So, I've got 2 against 50 or 60.
Right, but there's ways to play against that, right? So just because they have all these, cabins doesn't mean that you can't build a huge authority in your niche and rank for this stuff. It's just a lot harder because the type of manpower these people have versus the type of manpower you have, which is just you, is a lot different, right? Or am I wrong?
Most of these guys are just, there's 2-man shops that don't do much with their, I don't know. I don't think most of these guys have done a lot with SEO, and I know a lot of the guys out there, so I'm not sure. Maybe they are doing it. But I think a lot of them are just popping up cabins, throwing it on their website, adding in what the details are, and that's about the extent of it.
But that's what SEO is what I'm saying.
Right.
They probably don't even know that they're doing SEO.
True.
And what I meant by manpower is like the fact that they have the ability to like spend all this time like making all these listings, where I don't know if you have the time to go and make like an insane amount of content on your site.
Sure.
And I'm not talking about like really low quality content where it's just like random pages just generated and then you're just putting them on there just because you want to rank. I'm talking about like actual like stuff of value, which right now, so this is all valuable stuff, right? This is all stuff that people need to see. And I'm not saying like just go and make content because some SEO guy told you, hey, you got to make content to rank. I'm saying like if you want to put in the work and make like valuable content that people are going to want to see, then yeah, do it. But if you're just trying to rank for like some keywords, like the ones you're ranking for, I'd say continue doing what you're doing and probably do some good posts. And I think you're in the right direction. But if you really want to be able to rank for this kind of stuff, you have to know that you have to be able to put in the work that these other people are putting in.
Yeah.
So it's not meant to discourage you. I'm just telling you.
Sure. I understand.
Cool, man. Well, did you have any other questions? Was that helpful at all, or?
Yeah, it's helpful. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Right on. And then I can send over some extra information. Let me just exit this Hangout really quick. Thank you guys for joining this Hangout. Hopefully some of you guys benefited as well. Let me just exit this.